In this video, we're going to look at calculating normal probabilities. That is, taking a real normal distribution, some random variable, not the standard one, and solving probability questions associated with it. So what we've got here is a random variable x that's normally distributed with a mean of 200 and a standard deviation of 30. We want to work out the probability that x is less than 186. So what does this look like? Well, the real underlying variable x has a mean of 200, and we want to work out the probability that x is less than 186. Remember what we need to do. We need to standardize this. So in order to solve this, we're going to need to turn this into the standardized z distribution, which has a mean of 0 and a standard deviation of 1. So we need to work out how many standard deviations below the mean, or above/below the mean, is 186. And to do that, we use the formula from a few videos back, which is that the standardized z value is the x value minus the mean over the standard deviation. So in our case, our z value is 186 minus 30, minus 200 minus the mean, divided by 30, the standard deviation. And that is minus 0.467. So that's our point here, minus 0.467. So the thing that we are working out is phi of minus 0.467. Now, for these questions here, I'm going to show you both using the tables and the calculator. In future questions, I will just use one method, but just so you get a sense of how they both work, I'll show you both here. So if we're going to use tables, we would use symmetry. We would say that the area I've shaded there is the same as this area up here by symmetry, and that area there is the same as 1 minus the probability of being less than positive 0.467. So the thing I would work out is phi of positive 0.467, and let's do that using tables. So 0.46 gets me this, and then 467, I need to find the 7 here, and I'm going to need to add 25. So 0.6772, and then I add 25 in the slightly strange way I showed you before. So I do 0.6772, and then I add 25, and that gives me the following. And there's that probability. So 0.6797, and the answer is therefore 0.3203. Here's how we do that using the calculator. I go to Menu, Distribution, Normal CD. A lower here, well, it's the probability of being less than minus 0.467. So there's no lower bound, so sort of minus infinity, or minus a very big number, up to minus 0.467. Standard deviation of 1, mu is 0, and there's our answer, 0.320. Well, look, it's actually 2. And as discussed before, you get a slightly different value from the calculator. It's actually more accurate, but it really wouldn't matter if you use 0.3202 or 0.3203. Another nice thing about the calculator is there's no limit to how many decimal places you can have here. From tables, we had to round this to 3 significant figures, or 3 decimal places, but really, it wasn't 0.467. It was minus 0.446 recurring. It was that. So you can key that in and get a slightly more accurate answer. So in fact, the truly accurate answer is 0.3204 if we're giving it to 4 significant figures. Anyway, all of that is very much just details. My purpose for showing you this really is just to show you how much easier it is to get it from the calculator than from the tables. So that's why it is my preferred method. Okay, what about this one here? The probability that x is between 150 and 186. I'm going to flip over to a different colour just to sort of distinguish the two questions. Well, the 150 is here. So we're looking for this region here. Now, if we were to standardise, it would be between something here and the minus 0.467 that we found before. So we can use our previous answer to work this out. Here's how. What we can say is that this is the same as the probability that x is less than 186, which would be everything all the way down here, minus the probability that x is less than 150. So that is get rid of everything here, leaving us just the chunk we want. Now, we already know the answer to that first question. The probability that x is less than 186 is 0.3203 or 0.3204 or whatever the details depending on how you got your answer. We just need to work out this one here. So I'm going to need to standardize 150. How do I do that? Well, I say that my z value is 150 minus the mean divided by the standard deviation, which was 30, and that's minus 1.6 recurring. So I'm going to use my calculator for this one. So that's going to be phi of minus 1.6667. Now, you can get this from the tables. You can do that by using symmetry again, saying that is the same as 1 minus the probability of phi of positive 1.6667. Much easier from the calculator, so 0.3203 minus, we'll use the calculator for this bit. So we have no lower bound, but our upper bound is minus 1.6 recurring. Standard deviation of 1, mean of 0, and that's 0.0478. And all we need to do now is compute that. So 0.3203 minus 0.0478, and we get a final answer of 0.2725. Okay, a little note on exam technique here. Now, you can check this in a few different ways. Key message here is that this working that I've done here is required. In exams, if you want to work out the probability of being between 2 points, you must split it up in this way, where you set everything up to a certain point minus everything up to a certain point. Of course, if you're using a calculator, the calculator gives you an enormous shortcut. Let me show you. Your calculator allows you to put a lower bound. We have found the z values for the lower bound and the upper bound. The lower bound for the z value was minus 1.6 recurring. The upper bound was negative 0.46 recurring. So if you just key it in like that, you get the answer. Look, it's off by the 4th decimal place, but that's just a rounding, sort of through rounding earlier answers. That's fine, as long as your answer is correct to 3 significant figures, which it is. So there's a very quick way to check. In the exam, don't just key it in like this. You do get method marks for splitting it up. There's one final way that you can check this, the entire question, without even standardizing. And again, you will not get marks if you just do this in Probability in Statistics 1. In Probability Statistics 2, you can do this, but we'll get to that when we get to it. Here's what I mean. The original question said, what's the probability that x was between 150 and 186? The standard deviation was 30, the mean was 200. And there you get your answer, the whole thing in one go. So yes, you can just solve the entire thing using a calculator, but to reiterate, in Probability and Statistics 1, in that paper, you must show this working, you must standardize, and you must split it up in the following ways. You can't just use your calculator. Once we get to Probability and Statistics 2, if you do that paper, then you can use this function. I'll show you that many, many times when you get there. Okay, let's try another question. So this one says, the lifetime of bulbs used in a lamp are normally distributed. A company X sells bulbs with a mean lifetime of 850 hours and a standard deviation of 50 hours. So let's write down the distribution. So B for bulb, the lifetime of those bulbs normally distributed with a mean of 850 and a standard deviation of 50. Find the probability of a bulb from company X having a lifetime of less than 830. So we want the probability that B is less than 830. By the way, we can solve this using the calculator straight away to know what the final answer is. I'll do that now, just being a bit cheeky. We'll then answer it properly, exam style. So all we need to do here is say we want no lower bound because it's technically minus infinity. By the way, obviously a bulb can't have a lifetime less than 0, but you still go for this minus infinity option. Up to 830, the standard deviation was 50, mu, the mean was 850. So look, that's the answer, 0.3446. But we'll do this properly, exam style. We'll do it by standardizing. So a quick sketch. Here's 850. Here's 830. What is that as a z value? Well, I'll standardize. My z value is my x value minus the mean of 850 divided by the standard deviation, and that comes out at 0.4, minus 0.4. So minus 0.4 is our z value. So the thing I'm actually working out is phi of minus 0.4. From the tables, if we were going to do it by tables, we'd use symmetry. We would say the probability of being less than that point is the same as the probability of being more than that point. That would be 1 minus phi of positive 0.4. The reason for that is positive 0.4 is up here, and the probability of being greater than that point is 1 minus the probability of being less than that point. And we can get this from the tables in the following way. 0.4, nice easy one to find, it's just there. So 0.6554. And I get my answer as 0.3446. So there's the answer. An alternative way is just go straight to the calculator and say it's got an unbounded lower end. It goes up to minus 0.4. This is with a standard normal distribution, so standard deviation 1, mean of 0, and there it is, 0.3446. You get the same answer whichever way you do it. So that's the first one. Now for part B. In a box of 500 bulbs from company X, find the expected number having a lifetime of less than 830 hours. So we know the probability of having a lifetime less than 830 hours is 0.3446. So that's the proportion of those 500 bulbs we'd expect to have a lifetime of less than that. So you can actually just times that by 500. 0.3446 times 500 is 172.3. Now, you could round this to 172, but expected numbers don't actually have to be whole numbers, so that would be fine as well. Okay, let's do one more question. So, x, the random variable x, is normally distributed with a mean of 130 and, well, what is that? Well, remember, after the comma, it's the variance. So the standard deviation, when we key things into the calculator, is the square root of 300. Let's solve this question now. The probability that x is greater than 102. So here's our distribution. Here's 130. Here's 102. The probability that x is greater than 102 is this bit here. Okay, let's standardize first. So our z value is going to be 102 minus the mean divided by the standard deviation, which is the square root of 300. So that's minus 1.617. All right, so think about what you want to work out here. You want the probability that z is greater than minus 1.617. By symmetry, that's the same as the probability that z is less than positive 1.617. So all we need to do is work out phi of 1.617. So phi of 1.617. I'm going to do this using the calculator rather than the tables because I prefer it. Let's see what we get. So my lower bound is minus infinity. My upper bound is 1.617. Standard deviation is 1. Mu is 0. And here's the answer, 0.9471. So there's the answer to the question. Let's have a look at how you'd check this without doing any of the standardizing. This is something just to check your answer. Go back to your calculator and this time say, well, it's a lower bound. If we look at the original question, it's a lower bound of 102. It's 102 up to infinity, so just chuck in a big number. The standard deviation was the square root of 300 and the mean was 130. And look, you get the same answer, 0.947. Okay, the fourth decimal place was slightly wrong. Why is that? Well, it's because in my standardizing, I rounded that to 4 sig figs, and that had a knock-on effect. Don't worry about that. You're never gonna lose marks for that sort of reason. So I hope that's been a useful look at how you solve normal probability problems and how you can check them in clever ways using the calculator. See you in the next video.